Hello and welcome to the DTF report, the recap of week 10 and looking forward to week 11. It is I, Dick Thunder Lips, bringing the scoops to you, heroes of fantasy, as you enter the stretch, the home stretch, pushing for the playoffs, baby, getting those teams ready for that battle royale if you aren't making the playoff cut. But let's kick things off with the action hot and heavy from last week, week 10, folks, in the Bookaroos, as we take a look at the first matchup between Sorry About Your Damn Luck, Danny Boy's team taking down El Ezekiel 99.2 to 80.4. A rough week for Freddie, as a team that was poised for stardom has crumbled to the bottom before our very eyes. Yes, now Freddie did all he could this week. He put in a very game lineup, but it just wasn't enough, as enough downtrodden faces at El Ezekiel himself, only dropping 8.3. And oh, Dell, did they try to get you the ball, but it just ain't happening in Cleveland, baby. Meanwhile, the Saints got upset by Atlanta. That D didn't do much. But on Danny Boy's side, Jared Goff choking on air. I don't even know what's wrong with this man. 3.7 points. I mean, Jared Goff is looking like makes Mitch Trubisky look like a pro bowler, if you know what I mean. But that hot sauce 21 from DJ Moore, Le'Veon Bell, tolling it for Sorry About Your Damn Luck as they roll to 7-3 after a big win in week 10. Next up, Crystal herself forces female tumbled to 5-5 as she fell 105 to 111 to the hot Chubb Time Machine. Jay Sizzle's team on point, still rolling and trolling, baby. 33 from Lamar. Trades paying dividends for Jay Sex as Chubb still pulls off 14 points. David Montgomery came back down to earth. And Crystal still getting that hot sauce performance for Christian McCaffrey, but one of her usual whores, Mr. Cup, decided he'd say, "There's nothing in my cup today, baby," pulling up a big goose egg, and that was enough to sink her battleship in a very tight matchup as we roll down here and check out Jay Sizzle's bench holding Kareem Hunt on it. Look at that, ready to go. I don't know what's going on in Cleveland. What a joke. Jay Sizzle rolls on, baby. But you better watch your back in case Al comes beating you up for picking on the wifey. Crystal's still looking good, though. A top-scoring team still got a shot, baby. Keep the dream alive. Stephen Naramore, meanwhile, the real Flash Gordon, falls again. This time to Roberto Gomez himself, the former Pirate Life, now Death by Sanu. Rolling in there. Bob didn't even have to play a wide receiver in this matchup, apparently. Going with the old bencharoo stratagem for some God-known reason again. Sacrificing potential tie-breaking points to lock down the dub. 25 points from the Ravens D. 27 points from Aaron Jones. But it's just not enough, folks. Even with the subpar Drew Brees performance, Derrick Henry said, "Let me put this on my back, guys. Oh, I know you traded for me," and then walked Babalu's team to victory himself. Travis Kelce, no slouch, and Marquise Brown, back to Hollywood for you, baby. As you see, Michael Gallup to 17.6 points. That is way too low-hanging fruit of a joke every week on Michael Gallup, but he's like a young horse. It's fine. Deebo Samuel, meanwhile, the dude that was in at wide receiver, dropped 19.2. That definitely wasn't negative, Bob. So you could have played him safely. But you see here, a big dub by Bob, keeping the dreams alive as we head into the final weeks. And Zacharoo, I don't even know what's happening. 201 points. Everybody earns sometimes, and this week it's a Professor. Professor put up a nice score, only to get completely shut on by Zachary M. Dawson. And Zach Dawson saw his whole team pop off. 20 points from the Rams, $1 million from Christian Kirk. Even Tarek Cohen believed he was a running back for at least one game, folks. I mean, this is ridiculous from top to bottom. Even dude scoring 17 on the bench. Can you believe he could have had more points if he would have played Greg Olsen? I don't even know what this means. It's like he put in an ESPN cheat code for a week. Meanwhile, Oscar got a 0 from this. There's no title there. I mean, frankly, Oscar getting that many points with a 0 and a 2 is pretty impressive. You'll see this big Darius Slayton performance, a big Dak Prescott showing, but you know what? It's not enough against the house that Zach built. Whatever, man. Change your team name. Zach Ertz is long gone. Zach staying alive. As we roll on to the greatest matchup of the week, as Al's Avengers took on CJ in a battle of ineptitudes, and Al proved victorious, keeping the dream alive, not letting CJ win a game because he doesn't deserve it. CJ with his best performance of the year, $132, lost to 136. Oh my, hold on. What's even better is this came down to a Monday night matchup between Emmanuel Sanders and whoever the hell Ross Dwelly is. Luckily, Dwelly somehow got 5 points, and Emmanuel Sanders somehow choked, and thus you'll see L squeaking out against CJ, and this just proves how much CJ sucks. In the end, could have won if he played Ebron, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Meanwhile, look at this team. Still a pile of horse shite, and still hanging in there. It's adorable, Al. Hey, look at that. Same record as the wife. Crystal and Al sitting in a tree. Both better than CJ. Kissing. Baby. Moving right on as Ricky G picks up a big W by a 5-point margin against Matt Segovia's Julio Johnson. And the return of Patrick Mahomes dropping 29.8 just wasn't enough, folks. Matt's team, Golden Tate shining through. That Niners deep still doing the deed. But meanwhile, on Ricky's side, Godwin isn't exactly beasting anymore, but Dalvin Cook in the kitchen brewing up something hot, baby. Hotter than my pipe in this hot scoop. Took Ricky G on his shoulders and said, God still wins. Baby, 8-2. Stomping their way into the playoffs as we go to the last matchup of Week 10. As Aldo's team got screwed again. I Surrender goes to 3-7 as poor Aldo loses another heartbreaker by a point, 1.3 to the reigning defending champions, Adrian and Tyree. And as we see the tale of the tapes, you'll see Baker Mayfield with a respectable performance. You'll see Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown. Somehow Aldo just said, get in there, all the Rams backups, and hope something happens because everyone else is on bye. Although there's this thing you can do. You can drop players that are backups and pick up other dudes that are possibly going to play to score more points. And you might have picked up the dub. But instead, Tyree and Adrian go on with another W despite their shut-eye team and the Big Cheese continuing to turn rotten before our eyes. Hey, Derrick Henry would really sauce up this lineup, Adrian. Maybe you should try trading for him. Yeah. Anywho, as we take a gandaroo at the standings. Here we go, baby. Hot Trump time machine. And God wins. And first, second place, 8-2, 7-3s. We got sorry about your damn luck. And the Big Cheese themselves, Tyree and Adrian. The top 4 rounded out. And then a glut of 500. A glut of mediocrity. And yet a sliver of hope for the mediocre. Because y'all suck this year. The force is female. Everybody hurts sometimes. Julio Johnson, death by Sanu. Even Al's Avenger still has a shot. Jack. This is crazy this point of the year to all be 5-5. El Ezekiel at 4-6. I Surrender. These teams just needed a couple dubs, and they still would have been in the conversation thanks to the lackluster play of all these other teams above them. And all we see is beautiful parody, and all Dick can help but look is down. And he's not looking at his Johnson folks, no. Dick's only looking at the race for last place. Because I still see Jizzle over Oscar, and this just can't stand. CJ needs to be in last place if Dick has to put a bounty on him or not, baby. Nothing gets Dick harder than a CJL, baby. Now let's roll right along here. Check out the top scoring team Forces Female still leads the way with Hot Chump Time Machine. Aldo still in third despite that porous record, as he still scores well every single week. Zach's team, despite not changing his team name, still up there along with Steven Naramore. And you'll see quite a bit of parité in the middle. And Babalu, still somehow hanging on to a great record, strong record, if you were shooting for 500. But, you know, this ain't Bizarro World, that's fine. But hey, the dude's still got a playoff shot, even though he's the lowest scoring team. Now, points against make it all possible. It's the sauce. It's the secret sauce right here, because this is how Aldo loses every week, with 1 million points scored against him. The Professor, the same. This is CJ, but we don't care about him. Crystal still getting shit on, but that explains why she's 500, baby. And as you see at the bottom here, Rick Hara and Jay Sizzle, first and second place, taking advantage of that lowest scored against. And that's why we play the game, folks. That's why we play the game. It's not to eat mustaches, no. It's to keep the action rolling hot and heavy. And we only got a couple of weeks left of action. We'll get a special recap-a-roo another time. But for now, let's take a quick look at the map chops for this week. This was a terrible way to go. Hold on. Oh, week 11. Danny boys, sorry about your damn luck. We'll be sure to lay the smackdown on CJ's poorest team. If Danny Boy loses to CJ, clearly he will seppuku himself, drop all of his players, and retire from fantasy football forever. I have that on great authority. Now listen, I surrender. Meanwhile, Aldo will try to play spoiler and deal the W to himself and the L to Mr. Ricky G in a clash of Titan scoring versus Titan record, as these two clash on the battlefield. No, Zuck. Everybody hurts sometimes. 5-5 against Crystal. 5-5. Gotta stay alive like Johnny 5. You need the dub here, folks. This is a big one. This is a big one for both teams. Zach, rename your damn team. Hot Chump Time Machine, meanwhile, going head-to-head with the reigning, defending super champion of the league, Adrian and Tyree, in what could be a playoff preview, folks. Or maybe the reason one of them doesn't make the playoffs in a big preview of what's to come. This matchup's going to be hot, baby. And, you know, Adrian wants J-Sex's eyes. It's kind of weird, but adorable at the same time. Check the Discord for that. Anyway, El Ezekiel goes against Al's Avengers. Another matchup of teams fighting for scraps. The 5-5 needs the dub. El Ezekiel's got to maintain that strong presence, keep the hopes alive in a very important game. And Julio Johnson's going to take on Steven Naramore. Matt Segovia needs the win again. These teams couldn't play spoiler. Steven Naramore can say no to Matt Segovia. Your playoff hopes are crushed. And at the bottom of a barrel. And at the bottom, Oscar needs to beat Bob to have a hope of not finishing worse than CJ. As Death by Sanu takes on the Professor. And an epic matchup. And Bob, you're the lowest scoring team in the league. Your tiebreakers are shit because of it. I hope you're happy. And here we are. As the weeks roll on, get ready, get your lineups in, and get ready for the turkey games coming up. Oh, the action doesn't stop. Pay your league dues a second time. I don't know when the trade deadline is. Dick isn't informed. He just states the facts, baby. Now, be like Dick, get out there and get hard on these lineups. Until next time, baby. Dick song.